Hi, I'm Nigel Hobbs. I'm from Katzone Enclosures. I'm down here in the South West. I design and build cat enclosures, and I've been doing that for the last 14 years. So I got into designing and building cat enclosures when we had a very personal circumstance. We'd moved to a new house and we'd only been there a couple of weeks, and my wife's favourite cat found herself out on the road and was hit and passed away. So our immediate reaction was, right, for the two remaining cats, you are now housebound cats, you are inside. Well, within 2 weeks we realised this wasn't going to work because there were antisocial behaviours, destructive behaviours, and they were trying to get out the door all the time. It was a very stressful environment for all. So my wife went through the process of getting someone quote and design and build a cat enclosure for us. And when I saw what was done and how it was done, I thought, well, I could do that, and I could do a better job. Okay, so for building a successful catio, you're looking for a few things. You're wanting your cat to be able to access the area easily and, ideally at will, so the cat can come and go when the cat pleases. So you're looking for an area where the cat can go to access the enclosure, and sort of so they can suit themselves and they're not reliant on you letting them in and out. You want an area that can be used by all, so you're not restricting the area to the cat only. It's an area that you can still use as well as the cat, but you also need an area which is going to be interesting and enriching for the cat to be in. You may have heard Dr. Kate Lindsay talk about enrichment, and that's very, very important to helping keep your cat happy. So there are a few standard different types of cat enclosures or catios that I build. I guess the most common one is what you would commonly call your side of house cat enclosure, which is sometimes on what is called the dead side of the house. It's or narrow side of the house. Quite often it doesn't get used for a lot. It's usually your most economical area to use because you're working with a lot of structure that's already in place, so you've got minimal structure required to set up the enclosure. But very critically with side of house enclosures, you're looking at enrichment and needing to make the area interesting, give the cats points of height, access, viewing platforms so they can see over fences and they're not feeling restricted and bound by trapped in a very confined environment. The next most common enclosure would be enclosing a patio or alfresco type area. Now this can be good for people that don't necessarily do a lot of entertaining, but they like to sit outside, have a morning coffee, have a brunch, but you can just interact very freely with your cats. And I think in general this is probably an area that cats most like, because they can spend time with you while they're being outside. There are considerations. You can combine a side of house and a patio or alfresco type enclosure, and then you can also extend out into a garden space from that, and sort of, I suppose I'd term it almost like an alfresco. So you're building more structure, but you're taking the enclosure out into either a garden or a space which is sort of you're specifically setting up and building around for your cat. Looking after the safety of the cats themselves, you're looking after your own well-being and peace of mind. You're helping to reduce neighbour friction or neighbour disputes and things because you're keeping the cat on your property. And another ever-increasing factor is the environmental, looking after the environment and making sure that your cat or cats aren't going out and predating on our wonderful native wildlife. What I found was that peace of mind is greatly underrated. Once we didn't have to worry about the cats and where they were, and knowing that they were happy and could access the outside, it just brought our stress levels down immediately. And it was, we didn't have to worry about trying to find them before we went out or where they were. It was just they were there, and sometimes that is more valuable than anything.
Since building my catio,
My
cat can't roam. It's safe at home.